This video, we're going to talk about what the CEO said directly to the investors. All right. He said, "Dear investors," and then we're also going to talk about some of the latest scandals. All right. Not so nice, but yeah, we got to talk about the good and the bad. So first of all, the CEO on stage, he said, investors, dear investors, pretty much. And he said some people will look at short-term performance and some people will look at the longer time frame of where we're headed and where everything is going. And this is his heartfelt message, and that is that if you're looking for short-term results, you might not get that here. But if you're looking for long-term success, this is where NIO is. All right, that is what NIO stands for. And he also talked very interestingly about how in Q1 of 2021, that was actually their best quarter ever. And he said their team was reviewing things and they said that they only lost 400 million in that quarter. And everything, their margins were at 20%. Everything was so nice. Everything was fantastic. And this could be a hint towards Q1 of 2024, because what happened back then, that was right after the ET7 launch, revolutionary product, and then hype in the brand, and then all of a sudden everybody wants a piece of this brand and buys a NIO. So that's the formula for why it was so successful back then. So now we're perhaps repeating that same formula. All right, perhaps, because there's good stuff and there's bad stuff. I mean, this revolutionary new car is gonna, of course, hype everybody around the world. Even those people on the street, they're gonna love this car. All right, and that's gonna hype up the brand so much that potentially people might buy a NIO. All right, and people will definitely want to buy a NIO. So maybe Q1 sales will increase also with boosted incentives. But also some of the other things that might not help out is, first of all, taxes, and then also Shanghai is removing the free license plate policy. So if you want to buy an EV, it's as easy as you just buy it and you get a license plate and you can drive it off. But here in Beijing, you have to roll for a license plate, and it's very difficult, like 10% or less chance to get a license plate. So they're implementing that in Shanghai as well. So that means it's going to be harder for people to get the license plate to buy a EV in Shanghai. And by the way, Shanghai and the surrounding area makes up about 50% of NIO sales. So this is going to have a very big impact. All right, so something to be on the lookout for. All right, but of course, there's definitely many methods to getting a license plate. All right, even though you're not getting it directly, you can buy it off of someone, or rent it from someone, or just roll for it, and maybe you'll get it. All right, so there's many ways to get the license plate, but it is an extra step. It is an extra obstacle, an extra barrier for people to buy a NIO, and it's going to make buying a EV in general, all right, not just NIO, any EV, including Tesla, all the EVs, a little bit more difficult. Okay, now what is the recent scandal? And I want to preface this by saying that this scandal is still trending here in China, but the problem has been solved quite fast. So the whole entire situation, and it actually happened here in Beijing, it's quite funny. It's very funny. I laugh at this because they had a promotional event where they would get a bunch of high-end people to essentially attend this event. They have a lot of different activities. One of the activities is sniffing some baijiu, which is like alcohol, right? And basically, very famous one. You sniff it and just to smell it. Right? Nothing too extravagant, but just smelling it. But then in the event planner, they also had test drive, and the test drive was after sniffing the alcohol, which was really odd. But of course, they announced the itinerary, but after about 30 minutes, some NIO owners seemed kind of suspicious of this, because it didn't really look that good, because the wording didn't exactly specify sniffing. So it made people think that maybe they're going to drink and then go drive and test drive the car, which was really, really weird. All right. And So people reported NIO to the traffic police, and the traffic police got involved and doing an investigation. But as soon as 30 minutes into launching this thing, announcing that turn rate, they changed it. They flipped the order, all right? So they put the sniffing at the end and test drive first. But people still seem to think that, you know, they're NIO is promoting drinking first and then driving, and which was really just dumb. And then so this was also in Beijing, and then the general manager of NIO in Beijing, he was not happy. Their team had a severe, I wouldn't say beat down, all right, this is the translation, but it's more like a scolding and you know, telling him in a angry way not to ever do that again. Maybe the guy in charge of this thing got fired, who knows. I might even know that guy, but maybe, I don't know. But the thing is, this thing goes trending, and it's just not a good look. Obviously, it wasn't a mistake, it was an accident, but it just shows that sometimes this kind of missteps really get magnified here in China a lot. So it's kind of stupid. And yeah, it's kind of stupid. And you guys shouldn't really take much effort into it. It's more like just a small mishap. But we certainly do wish that they were a little bit more careful, right? I mean, like, anytime you have alcohol and driving, I mean, perhaps don't even have anything alcohol related, right, when it comes to having a driving event. It sounds like a really cool event, and I would personally attend that event if I was invited. But just having that thing, those two together on the same poster, doesn't really look that good. NIO's not short of scandals, and you know, last year, not last year, 2 years ago, when they launched the ET5, NIO CEO said that famous statement, "Why would anybody buy a gasoline car unless you like the smell of gasoline?" And he has since actually apologized for that. And he said, you know, back then it was because, you know, they were just having casual conversation with the media people, and you know, things got kind of out of hand, and they were too excited and too happy, and he said that statement. But he apologized because he said, you know, people choosing gasoline cars, there's definitely a reason for that, and also it wasn't his intention to offend the gasoline vehicle drivers. So he apologized for that, and he also mentioned how he got that label, and a lot of labels here in China, especially in comment section, a lot you'll see because of a person, "I hate this company," and this was referring to the CEO. And of course, he had to come out and make a formal apology about that to try to clear his name, I guess. But you know, I stand on his side. I think it's absolutely right to say that thing, and it actually helped a lot with sales in terms of the ET5. People bought the ET5 in troves, pretty much. NIO's not short of scandals, but hopefully they make less of those mistakes. Once again, the future is bright, blue skies are coming. The important takeaway from the CEO is have a very long-term perspective about where everything is headed. If you're focused on short-term or short-term success, you might be blinded by long-term failure. Things might succeed short-term, like if you look at Nokia phones, they succeeded short-term, but then long-term, where is everything headed? Right? This is what you need to look and pay attention to, okay? BlackBerry, see short-term success, but where are things headed long-term? So that's pretty important for you to keep in mind. I think NIO is doing a fantastic job at setting the future for automobiles. They're doing a very good job, and they're still the 天花板, which is the ceiling of what it means for a car in terms of tech, etc. Don't forget to hit the like. See you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.